I've generated over $10 million with Google Ads alone in the past 3-ish years, and through my experience seen a lot of crazy Google Shopping ads. But in this video, I'm gonna go over this wild Google Shopping ad which does roughly $130,650 alone per month in revenue. And the way to get to this brand is by doing a quick Google search for the keyword complete skincare kits. It is the first brand right here, which is called Dime Beauty Co. The reason why this is such a beautiful brand that you want to follow, that you want to mimic, is because of the overall approach they have taken despite being in such a competitive niche such as skincare. So in terms of the overall revenue that they do get, that is still more of a questionable thing to look at, but we can definitely look at the overall monthly visitors. Just in the last month of June, they got roughly 465,000 visitors. And if we scroll down, we can see a large portion of it, almost 45% of it, comes from Google search ad traffic. So that makes this a very profitable brand. That makes this a brand that's in the scaling phase. And now I want to go ahead and do a little bit of math here. Let's say, for example, we calculate a bit of the numbers, not even 440,000 because that's the average monthly searches, 460,000. Let's drop it a bit because we want to take into account this 270K as well. Let's make it 390,000. With a brand at this scale, it's usually going to have a conversion rate of 1%, which is roughly 0.01. With that, there's about 3,900 sales that are happening every single month. And if we look at the overall price of this product, it's around $33.50. If we just take that into account, we can see that it's roughly doing $130,650 in revenue. Before we actually go back and dissect the ad itself, let's go on over to the Google Keyword Planner tool. And if we look right here, the first thing I really like to look at is I like to look at the top of page bid high range. Now, this number right here, this is a specific bid. The competitors in this niche are bidding currently. That is the highest bid. This is more for search campaigns itself, but the reason why we want to look at this is it gives us a general idea of what the overall competitiveness is overall, despite looking at exactly search campaigns or shopping. We can see almost all of these, at least the good ones with the highest amount of monthly searches, almost all of this is above $3, $4, $5. And to give you kind of a brief overview, a niche with $1 and below is considered to be a less competitive niche. Anything above $1 to $2 is considered to be moderately or heavily competitive. In this case, we're dealing with $5, $3, $2.20, $3, $4, etc. So this should give you an idea of just how competitive this niche overall is. With that, let's now understand that why this brand is able to crush it amongst its competitors and grow month over month. Of course, we start with the product image because that's right smack the first thing we see. In terms of the product images, the reason why this niche itself is so competitive is because almost all of these product images, they have a similar layout to them. These products, they're laid out one by one next to each other. If it's multiple creams, if it's like overall sets, and then there's the packaging in the back. This is just what the layout is for these kinds of products because that's just what a user is expecting to see when they type in complete skincare kit or just skincare products in general. Dime Beauty made it different for their brand. Instead of just having the products side by side, which they also do have that, they added a background image and a background variation in terms of the color itself. So instead of making it a normal white background or instead of making it a plain gray background, they took a completely different approach. They researched what kind of background image will help contrast these bottles the most. And what they found out was the skin colored background is the best way to go. They did not just randomly choose this color. They wanted to choose a color which adds the perfect level of contrast to their bottles. And they did not just lay out their bottles like majority of these other brands are doing, where it's just side by side one after the other. They instead laid it out in kind of a proportional layout, which there's equal amounts of space between each bottle and there's enough amounts of space vertically between these bottles as well. All these things really help that background color come out and pop out in between these bottles, hence giving these bottles more of an outline. It becomes almost impossible not to click on their ad, not to interact with their ad, at least if you're in this niche, to buy that product. If we move on now to the product title itself, we can see it's a very simple layout compared to what its competitors are doing. The brand name is right smack at the very top because that's what this product is led by, the brand name. It says Dime Beauty Co., the complete system, vegan, clean. This product title, it does not have too much search engine optimization going on, but despite that, it's able to rank #1, not only for this keyword, but for majority of the keywords. And that's because of the overall approach they have taken for this ad itself. They have the right kind of words in place, which they have probably found out through the data that they're getting via their Google Ads campaigns. If we look at their pricing, they've also priced it very strategically. They're not the most expensive like Geology is right here, nor are they the most expensive like JLO Beauty is right here. They're right smack in the middle at $134, which is a very unique price compared to its other competitors because none of them seem to be selling at exactly $134. So that pricing on its own is really helping it stand out. And then they have reviews here, which a majority of the other brands have. So it doesn't really help add much contrast or variation, but it still does the trick because this is adding a lot of trust factor to the overall brand itself. And then they have 60-day return policy where majority of these brands might have no return policy at all, or if they do, they might have a 30-day return policy. So that kind of gives that the final touch to this ad, which really makes it stand out. But that's just the ad side of things. Let's move on now to the actual landing page side of things to understand why it's such a successful brand. Now, starting at the very top, we can see that they have a header which says shop now, explore the tinted lip balm collection. Nothing really too specific regarding a sale, regarding what's going on. But if we scroll down here, we can see that their brand unity continues from the product ad itself on shopping now to the product page itself. All of these product images, it's all unified. It's all the same background, which is super important when you're trying to create a brand, when you're trying to establish kind of a different feel compared to other competitors. But on the right, we see they have a sale going on here. Their pricing, it's in their original colors that their brand goes by, which is this skin color. Then there's the reviews, followed by just a very simple approach, product descriptions, which is a very straightforward description. They're interlinking here, which is good for SEO organic purposes. And then they have ingredients here, which is something unique because not a lot of brands do talk about what their products are made of, how they're made, etc. They have the FAQ section, which is one of the most important things to have. And then they have the suggested use section, followed by a trusted badge section. So these are all custom trusted store badges, which are super unique and is necessary for scale with Google Ads in 2023 and onwards. Below that, there's just the upsells and downsells, followed by reviews at the very bottom. It's a very simple, very straightforward layout. There is nothing too extra going on here that would really make this stand out compared to competitors, but that's the main reason why it's winning, because it's so simple and within a few scrolls you'll be at the very bottom of the landing page. But this is, by the way, one of the kind of similar approaches we recommend not only for my own e-commerce brand but also for client e-commerce brands under my Google Ads agency, Your Marketing, which if you're currently doing $40,000 or more per month in revenue, you need just a little bit of extra help scaling your brand to the next level. Go on to my website at yourmarketing.com and book a free call with me to see how we can potentially work together and make that happen. But along with the Google Ads approach, Dime Beauty is really kind of scaling to the next level because they have other proper things in place, such as a proper backend setup in terms of the emails. If you sign up for their email flow here, you'll be getting a bunch of different emails. They have also chat support here, which is something a lot of e-commerce brands don't handle. If we go on over to their cart page now, we can see their cart page is also very custom, also very beautifully designed. But the main thing is they're not just active on Google Ads, they're also active across multiple platforms, and that directly is driving traffic to their Google Shopping ads. But again, that is exactly why this wild Google Shopping ad is able to do $130,000 or more per month in revenue by just having the right approach in terms of their product image, which they really kind of made it simple, yet that was enough to make it stand out in such a competitive niche. Their pricing was on point, their product titles, although it did not contain the most amount of SEO keywords, it contained the right words needed and the brand name, which drives majority of the traffic. And then with the reviews, with the trusted factors that are in place on the product landing page itself, that was kind of the final touches that this brand needed to really scale to the next level. But again, if you're doing $40,000 or more per month in revenue, you need just a little bit of extra help scaling your brand to the next level. Go on to my website at yourmarketing.com and book a free call with me to see how we can potentially work together and make that happen. But I want you to watch this video right here on a brand I recently scaled to over $100,000 per month in revenue. I go over my entire strategy, how it happened, so on and so forth within the video.